Hi, everyone, and welcome to Get Uplifted. We are in a new year. It is 2021, and I am here with Angela Manuel Davis, who is an international and fitness evangelist and a motivational coach who has touched the lives of many. As a former member of the USA track and field team, Angela was a five-time All-American who held world rankings in the 100-meter dash. Angela is also an Olympic trials semifinalist and member of the World Championship team, a professional runner for Nike, and is now the co-founder and chief motivation officer for Army. Angela,
Woohoo!
how are you? Come on, that list.
Wonderful. Wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so good. And I'm so grateful to be talking to you. Literally, this is like making my life that you are spending your time
Ah,
and energy doing this to come on here. So thank you so much.
it's my honor to be here.
Thank you. And thank you for all that you do. Guys, if you have not taken a class or follow Angela on her Instagram, I mean, you are missing out. This is some profound and incredible encouragement that I highly recommend. Honestly, Angela, I found you through doing a couple live classes during the pandemic with Ashley
Yeah.
Graham and Sloane Stevens. And honestly, I was blown away and just your electricity. You are literally, I don't even know. If you want to just give a little background of, how you got started and, how Army got started.
Sure. Sure. So, I've been in sports all of my life and really um, took this beautiful platform of sport and chose to marry sport and spirituality, which I don't think is done always, but is just it becomes this beautiful vehicle to inspire, encourage, and motivate people to live their best life. We as fitness professionals have an opportunity to put our athletes in these challenging moments where they feel like, the work is really hard, it's super challenging, at times it feels overwhelming, and you're in this moment where we can break you open. And when we break you open, we can pour in all the goodness, we can pour in hope, we can pour in restoration, we can pour in peace, we can encourage you and inspire you. And it's in that breaking open where we get to pour in, and there's this rewiring that happens, and you literally can change from the inside out. So it's this, for me, it's this combination of sport and spirituality that I use through a cycle class, that I use through a boot camp class, that I use in moments where I'm just talking on a stage and encouraging someone, and may add some physicality and may add some movement. I just feel so passionate about movement, and the fact that when we get strong enough in our bodies, we get to a place where we live the life that we were called, created, and intended to live. I love the motto: change your mind, change your body, change your life. Change your mind about what you say is possible for you so that you can change your body and get strong enough in your body so you can change your life and live the life that you were called, created, and intended to live. And so for me to really operate in that space, I love movement and sport and physicality, along with motivation and spirituality and encouragement. So that's what I do. That's my mission. That's me living in purpose. And that's, what I'm just extremely passionate about is taking the opportunity to let every single individual know, as many individuals as I have the opportunity to meet or to touch with my words, to let every individual know that you were created in purpose, on purpose, for a purpose. And that once we get strong enough in our body, we can live a life that is purpose driven, that is purpose fulfilled. And, when you think about it, you think about so many people that don't feel fulfilled, or feel frustrated and don't know necessarily if they're doing what they're created to do, that causes, depression and anxiety and panic and worry and fear. It causes all of these things. And what happens and what can change for us when we feel like we're actually living and doing the thing that we were created to do, the world just, turns differently. There's just a different flow in our life and in our day and in our being when we really feel like we are connected to that source and connected for our reason for being. So, that's what I do in the very winded version.
The best explanation ever. I mean, literally, it's like it's such an experience, and I honestly leave your class or practices like just totally restored, but I mean changed, but I'm crying, but for the best possible ways. And honestly, I had a huge mental shift. I was in kind of a weird place going into 2021, and I took your class with Lorianne, and oh my gosh, like I literally, the mental shift of staying in your yes, the power of your yes, confidence and uncertainty.
That's
I needed
great.
that class, and there's so much unlocking that you do. And my biggest question is, where do you find like the words? Do they just come out of you through source, or are you just like, I don't know, like how do you stay like connected and, encouraging people constantly? It's like, the right words every single time. I'm like,
Uh, well, I mean, I even before this conversation, I sat here and I prayed
me
and
too.
there's just uh there's these moments in our life where we realize that the moments are big and we feel small. And so in any moment, in any opportunity to talk to someone or to coach someone, I feel like A is a privilege. I feel like it's an honor. I don't take it lightly. um and I literally want to be used as an instrument to inspire, and I feel like we all have that capacity and we all have that ability. But in order to really be used to inspire, when you think of what inspiration means, it means to breathe life. When you think of what that means, it's not in our own being, and it's not in our own knowing, and it's not in our own that's nothing that we can do just in our within ourself. For me, there's a surrender that has to happen. There's a surrender to the process. There's a surrender, to the one who woke me up this morning. There's a surrender, and in that surrender, I feel like you're met. When you're willing to kind of sacrifice perfection, when you're willing to sacrifice having it all figured out, when you're willing to sacrifice knowing everything, and you just come into a moment and you step into a moment and you say, I'm willing to be used to inspire. I'm willing to be used to encourage. I'm willing to be used to motivate. You're not going to know the words. You're not going to know what everyone needs to hear. But when you're willing to show up and be of service, like you said, that's beautiful. When you're willing to show up and be vulnerable and be of service and surrender that moment, there is something that's bigger than you that steps in and takes over, and people hear what they need to hear, and people get fed, and
Yeah.
people are encouraged. What I love about encouragement is you can't encourage someone unless you have courage yourself.
Mm,
Encouragement means that I'm taking the courage out of me and I'm putting it in you. That's what
mm,
encouragement means. But you can't encourage someone unless you have courage. And a lot of my coaching comes from a source of faith, and you believing in yourself. But I can't teach that or speak to that if I don't have that.
so true.
So I just try and show up um transparent and vulnerable and honest, and not knowing it all, but just being myself, and praying that the words that need to be said will be said, and people that need to be touched will be touched. That's always my prayer and my hope.
I love that. That is so, I mean, I feel the same way because I mean, I'm a makeup artist who literally, everything was on hold, and it's so crazy. Like God literally, I feel like I'm collaborating on God with God on this for Get Uplifted, because I mean, I've never interviewed people before, but it was just something that was on my heart. And I literally told myself, I'm taking myself out of this, coming from a
Yeah.
place of serving, surrendering, and, just hoping that, whatever is meant to be spoken about and whatever's meant to be like talked about in these conversations, someone will resonate with in different aspects of their lives. And I just think that that's such a powerful and unique gift to just surrender and just see where it leads.
About being of service and showing up. And that's really when I say to people that we were all created in purpose, on purpose, for a purpose, that we, you know, attached to our purpose is that service piece. It is taking what you've been given and give it back to the world. It's taking the gifts and talents that you've been given and give it back to the world. And, even you as a makeup artist, that's service.
Yes.
Me and the fitness professional and coaching, that's service. Any and everything we do can be used to serve people, can be used to serve humanity, can be used to push humanity forward, can be used to make this world better. And really, it is about taking what we've been given and giving it back, taking that spotlight that's on us and turning that into a flashlight to show other people the way. And being a makeup artist is, I know I'm really funny about, it's like I like my makeup done because I like it to be done, but
Mhm.
I don't like the process of just
Yeah.
sitting there and getting my makeup done. And it's a really intimate process. And really, there's been people that I've had in my life that have done my makeup, and I realized that the space was too intimate for me to allow just anybody to do my makeup. And especially
100%.
when I would get ready to get on a big stage and talk to thousands of people, or do something for TV, or that's a moment of, for me, where I really have to be quiet, and I have to really like uh you know get prepared for what I'm about to do. And sharing that space with someone, you have to know that person has to understand the significance of what's about to take place. Not even necessarily the significance, meaning, oh, it's some major TV role, or it's some major film, or some major, but just the significance of being of service, just the significance of, I'm going to step into a place of vulnerability. I'm going to step into a place of surrender. I'm going to step into this place, and I have to be at a certain place mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, and my heart has to be at a certain place to really be used to serve in this moment. And whoever is in your tight quarters as you prepare for that has to be super special and has to be super in tune. And so, to all the makeup artists in the world, shout out to you who know how to walk that walk, who know how to talk when you're supposed to, and not talk, who know how to just be quiet. Sometimes I have makeup artists who I know who are just quiet, and I know they're praying. I
I
know
do
that they
that. I pray
know.
over my clients and I'm like, it's just like
Right. And I
serenity.
know,
Yeah.
and I know they know to do that, without me even asking, like, that they understand the significance of the moment. Like, okay, you're my client, but you're about, I'm getting you war ready. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, I'm painting your face and getting you war ready, because you're about to go out on this stage and go to war. You're about to go out on this
Yes.
stage and go to battle. You're about to
Yes.
go battle for people's life. You're about to go battle for peace and hope, and I'm getting you war ready, and understanding the significance of that. There's significance in that. There's great purpose in that. And that's in any and everything that we are gifted to do. When we understand what we are gifted to do and we give those gifts and talents back, they turn into service. And when they
Yes.
turn into service, we are doing our part to push humanity forward, you
Yes.
know?
100%. And it is true. I mean, the makeup artist is the last person that the talent sees and a client sees before they go and do their, appearance or press and all that stuff. And, you really just have to have a fine line of just understanding your client's, mental space, and that it needs to be protected. It's a sacred space. And,
Yeah.
I totally agree. And what you spoke about of operating in your gifts and talents, just like you were saying, and giving it
Yeah.
away. One thing that I wanted to say was I'm realizing more, as like makeup and the industry has slowed down. I was always aware that, I always love to make people feel their best in makeup, but I was like, what am I going to do outside of makeup? And that's actually how like Get Uplifted was born, of just, coming from a place of service. I was looking to do community service, but COVID, everything was shut down. So I figured, let me just start, getting on here and speaking to people and just letting them shine and let people take away what they need. And I feel like that has transformed into a lot of, like I said, how Get Uplifted was born. I mean, it's completely 180 of what I was used to doing, such a physical thing like makeup. But I'm just so grateful because I'm speaking to people like you who are just, making monumental movements to just push humanity forward. And I don't think a lot of people do that enough. And yeah, I don't know if I'm just rambling, but
No, it's
um,
good.
Every time I step into your practices and everything, it just seems like an even playing field, which is what I always love. And even when I was like taking the first practice or the first live, I felt like there was a community that was so welcoming, and I love the community that you have built. Do you want to touch on that a little bit of like, just building community with the people in Army and everything that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think community is huge. I think really having people in your life that believe in you, that, are willing to hold your hands up when you feel like you can't even hold your hands up, people in your life that will row your boat even when you don't have the energy to row your own boat. Either people are going to be in your life that are going to row your boat, or people are going to be in your life poking holes in your boat. And
Mm,
so it's on you who you choose to surround yourself with, because we're the total sum of the 5 closest people to us. So who are you surrounding yourself with? You are the total sum of those people. And so community is key. We were created to be in community. We were created to be in to commune with one another. The greatest accomplishments that we ever, accomplish in our life will not be accomplished on our own. They'll be accomplished in community. They'll be accomplished amongst a team. There'll be, like as far as Army is concerned, soldiers, people that are fighting for and with each other for our best life. We're literally going to war every day in these practices for our best life, for your best life. And that is such an incredible thing to do, and such a daunting feat to think that you have to do that alone. None of us were created to do it alone. None of us were created, to be in this world by ourselves. We were all created to be in community. That's why we thrive in community. We literally thrive in community. And so having COVID was definitely a hurdle that we had to figure out how to stay in community. How do we stay in community if all of a sudden we can't be in each other's presence? How do we do that? How do we do that and keep everyone healthy? And so we shut down our physical locations in New York and Los Angeles, our Army locations, on a Friday. And by Saturday morning, we were up running, Instagram lives, and we ran them live free for 150 days in a row. And, that's where you say that, we met via Ashley Graham and Sloan. But it was literally, how do we show up and still be in community? How do we show up and let everyone know, hey, you're not in this by yourself? What is the greatest common denominator is a common enemy. We're all fighting COVID. We're all fighting this pandemic. This is a world issue, and so whether you're quarantining physically by yourself, that does not mean that spiritually, emotionally, and mentally that you have to be by yourself. You can still be in community. And so we just felt super, super obligated to really show up in that space immediately. And we were the first, Army was like the first, fitness brand to go live on Instagram for free. Yes. And we just, we felt a strong conviction, and we just did it. We didn't have it all figured out. We didn't know if it was going to, pop off right or be perfect, but it didn't matter. We were just going to show up and say, look, we're in this together. We're in this together. And it was beautiful. We really blew up our global Army. It was, really extraordinary to connect with people all over the world.
I believe it, because honestly, I mean, it was just something I like look forward to personally, and just connecting with so many people and doing these lives, and just, even if they were just for 15 minutes, it was just, you got that connection, that, I don't know, the spirit, the energy, just, moving your body. I mean, the power of moving your body, but doing it with a whole bunch of people live, just, I don't know, there's something that's, I think it's overlooked because it's so powerful to do these lives. And I think that was so amazing that you were able to just quick pivot and evolve so quickly, because I mean, look at how much it's grown. I mean, in a matter of an overnight. I think the power of showing up too is a big theme that I'm learning too. And
we are super proud of that. Like, that was one of the things that we were super, super proud about, is just our willingness and wherewithal to pivot and like you said, one of the messages that you really resonated with was that message when I was talking about, even in uncertainty, you can have confidence. Uncertainty like you don't have to know everything. You don't have to have all the answers, but you can still have a confidence in knowing I'm prepared for this moment. There's not one challenge that I will face that I cannot overcome. There's not one obstacle that I will face that I cannot overcome. I am prepared for this moment. And that's, it's that whole idea of peace, where peace is, something that surpasses understanding. It means it goes past understanding. It means I don't have to be able to understand it cognitively. I don't have to really, completely be able to wrap my head around it to still have peace, to still know that I'm going to be okay, to still know that I'm going to be all right, to still know that I can do hard things, to still know that I can make progress even in a pandemic, that I can pivot in a pandemic, that I can still grow as a human, as a mom, as a wife, as a sister, as a friend, that I can still put a demand on my potential even in a pandemic. I can know that. I can know that. I can have confidence in uncertainty. All of us can.
Yes.
And so, that was a huge lesson for me. But again, just really being able to pivot with Army and our brand is something that I'm really, really proud of, because it's just like, you don't know, it's like you don't know what you're made of until you are put in those situations and you're like, oh, okay, this is who I am. This is who I am. When it hurts, when it's hard, when it's uncertain, when the challenge feels overwhelming, when the anxiety is trying to rob me, trying to kill, steal, and destroy, but there's perseverance anyway. There's this relentless ability to rise. And I think we were all faced with that opportunity to show ourselves who we were made of, and did we come out of this on the other side a better version of ourselves than what entered? That's our responsibility. And that's the task at hand, really.
Oh, Angela, I mean, that is like absolutely beautiful. I'm like processing it as you're saying it, because I was just, one last thing to leave people with, it would be, um, if someone has been going through 2020, 2021, we're, all dealing with this in different ways. If they're just looking to get started in moving their bodies, like, would you have any encouragement to how to get someone started? Because I feel like there's so many people I speak to who are like, no, I'm not going to do anything. New Year's resolutions aren't real, this and that. But if there's a small step that someone could take to start moving their body.
You said, Nicole, I think it's literally a step. I think it's getting up and choosing to put one foot in front of the other. If it's like, for someone who, say, has been sedentary for a while and hasn't moved in a while, if it's, I'm going to put on my favorite song. And if that song is 3 minutes long, if that song is 5 minutes long, start by just putting on your favorite song and moving for that song's entirety. Like when I create a workout, I may use the total of 10 songs, so maybe some of them are long, extended versions, shorter versions. But really, if you can like put on music, put on something that moves you and inspires you and uplifts you and like gets you hype and get you feeling good about yourself, and just move. If it's like, I'm going to do jumping jacks for the first half of this song, or I'm going to do walking lunges, or I'm going to do squats, or I'm going to get down and do sit-ups, I'm going to do push-ups. It's literally just moving and adding. There'll be progress in that. Like when you show up and decide, I'm going to put something on it, you'll make progress. Next thing you know, you have a 2-song playlist. Next thing you know, you have a 5-song playlist. Who knows, but just add. And if it's just walking, if it's just like, I'm going to walk around the block today, I'm gonna, like anything while I'm brushing my teeth, I'm gonna do calf raises. If I'm watching something in between in the breaks, I'm gonna do, sit-ups. I remember when I was younger, my dad played professional baseball, and I'm the oldest of 4, and we were all athletes, but we weren't able to just like sit there. We just weren't allowed to just sit there. So it's maybe introducing small habits that get you in a place where you feel like you're moving more than normal. And really, New Year's resolutions, they're hard, they're challenging in the sense that most people by the end of January have completely fallen off of what they said that they were going to do. But if you can look at it a little bit differently, um, you know, resolution is having, resolve, right? And maybe part of having resolve is reflecting on something that you're grateful for. So maybe
Mm,
instead of I'm gonna change this or I'm going to do this. Maybe it's taking a moment to reflect on something that you're grateful for. Okay. Maybe if we just start with that, let's reflect on something that we're grateful for. Now that we're in a posture of gratitude
mm,
versus saying, when you're in a posture of gratitude, you're not looking at negative, not what I don't have or what I didn't do, but you're looking at something positive.
yeah.
So a lot of times something negative can get you to the starting line, but it won't get you to the finish line. It'll
Yes.
just get you to the starting line. Like, oh, I want to change this, or oh, I want this. But if you put something positive, if the whole reinforcement comes from something positive, something that's built in gratitude, there's an ability to have sustainability and a
Mm,
capacity to hold on to that. So that's the first part of it. So let's have resolve in the sense where we reflect back and look at something that we want to be grateful for.
mm,
And with that gratitude, now we're in a positive mindset. And now that we're in a positive mindset, okay, now that we're in a positive mindset, we're more open to think about purpose and possibility. Now we're in a completely different mindset. So now that we're thinking about purpose and possibility, and the life that we could live,
mm,
because we're thinking about possibility, how about we now decide I'm going to get strong enough in my body to live the life that I was created and intended to live? That's a completely different shift. That's
yeah.
a completely different, oh, I need to do this, or oh, I need to lose this, or oh, I hate this about me, or oh, I hate that about me.
Mm,
Change the way that you even show up. Put the way that you show up and in a positive, hold the space for something positive. Hold the space for gratitude. Hold the space to get strong enough in your body to live the life that you were intended to live. That's just a different focus, and that's a different sustainability. I want to stay strong in my body so that I can be around for my children and my children's children.
yes.
You see what I'm saying? I don't want to be strong enough in my body so I have a six pack
Hmm.
and like that isn't, that won't keep me. Like
It's
that
not
won't hold
sustainable.
me.
Hmm.
It's not like I don't, it's not that serious to me. That's
Yeah.
not that serious to me. But what's more serious is that I'm healthy enough to be around for my kids and my kids' kids.
Yes.
That's that. Okay, now let me find something that keeps me in the pocket. Let me
Mm,
find something that allows me to move every day. Let me make different decisions on what I put in my body, because I want to be strong enough to do my work, my life's work, not my job, but my life's work. We're connecting it back to purpose. So it just has to mean something bigger and richer. It has to mean something that's not shallow and
yeah.
just based in aesthetics. It has to have deeper meaning. And if we can attach it to something bigger and something deeper and something bigger than ourselves, we
Mm,
have a greater opportunity to sustain whatever it is that goal and that achievement is.
I love that. Oh, that was beautifully said. And that's just like getting clear on your why and just knowing your purpose and thinking. I love that, Angela. I mean, just like thinking more in terms of, instead of aesthetics and, the way you look in clothes and what, being
Yeah.
strong mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Mm,
Yeah, that's it.
Angela,
I just want to be strong enough to live my life. I want to be strong
yes.
enough to do the thing I was created to do. I want to be strong enough to continue to get on the stage and inspire and encourage people. I want to be strong enough in my body to continue to show up and film these digital practices for
Yes.
Army. I want to, you know what I mean? Like it's different. It's not like, oh, I need to, oh, no, I don't, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It doesn't
Mm,
matter. And it's not rooted or grounded in anything of substance,
yeah.
and it won't keep you there. It won't
Just,
keep you there. It won't
mm,
keep you there.
mm, that is
Attach it
so,
to something that'll keep you there. Attach it to something that won't just get you to the start line, but it'll take you all the way through to the finish line. And it has to be something deeper. It has to be bigger, or it just won't. And that's why it never does. That's why most people fall off before January's even over.
Exactly. Oh, I love that so much. And just coming from a place of a higher, something bigger than yourself, rather than
That's
just
right.
like, oh my gosh, Angela, that is amazing. And that's one thing. I mean, I do, my morning routine is usually like reading my Bible, gratitude list, all of that before, and then before I start moving and stuff. But I make sure that I always say, I'm so grateful to have this body, to have the opportunity to move and do the things that I love in. And I really, truly try to not take for granted that any day.
That's
So
right.
I just really, I'm just so grateful. If anything, this year and the past year has just taught us to be really grateful for what we do have, and healthy bodies, and the ability to move and be inspired by beautiful people like yourself, who are so
Thank
encouraging
you.
and just a bright light in this world that we need more than ever. And I'm just so grateful for you, for everything that you're doing with Army, and all of the ripple effect is amazing, of like all the things that you are doing. And I'm just so grateful to be here speaking with you, and for
You're
your time and
so welcome.
energy. And thank you so much for being a part of this. And I can't thank you enough. And I can't wait to get back into some practices with you soon. Woo! I love it. Hopefully
Yay.
soon back in in person. But until then, we'll be practicing, digitally. And that's what I love, because I feel like you're right there in my living room, right there. So I
I got
appreciate
you.
it. I
I
love it.
got you.
Well, thank you so much,
I'm
Angela, and
proud
have an
of you.
amazing.
I'm proud of
Thank
you
you.
for doing the work, for showing up and being, living a life of service and purpose. For, what I tell people all the time, it's like purpose looks different in different seasons of our life. It looks different. I used to run track professionally, and there was something in that season in my life that was super purpose driven, that really, has my ability to even be the coach that I am today. But it all changes. I'm writing a book, or I've, done, my motivational speaking, and, did a movie and all kinds of, stuff. But it's like, what is the remix of the gift? The gift
Mm,
isn't just one thing. It's not just purpose, isn't just one thing. There's a remix, So for you, who is someone who interacts with people and gets them war ready to get on stage, or to do, their appearance, and to do, and now you're setting this different tone, and having these conversations, and still having this communal interaction, and literally, what is the remix?
yeah.
What is the remix of what everything that I have inside me? It's not, you're not just a one hit wonder. None of us are. We're not just a one hit wonder. You're all the things, Nicole. You're all the
Love that.
things. Like you're so many things,
I might
and it's
cry. Sorry.
really knowing, and those different areas, and those different seasons, and those different times in your life. Like, what is it in this season?
Yeah.
What is it in this season? What is it in this season? And it'll look different. It'll look
Yes.
different. And that is the beauty of the pivot. That's the
Yes.
beauty of the pivot.
I
That's the
love that.
beauty of being confident in uncertainty. That's the
Yes.
beauty of being able to show up in a season, not realizing that you were going to be in that season, but you may be it may be winter, but you didn't show up in your Daisy Dukes. Like, you're prepared.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
got your puffer on, you got your
Yeah.
snow boots on. Like, you're prepared for the season you're in. You're
Yes.
prepared for that season. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like, whatever the season is, you're prepared for that season. And so
Yes.
I'm proud of you. I'm
Thank
proud of
you.
you for taking this pandemic and saying, what else? God, I
Yeah.
know you're not done with me. I can't be in front of people like I'm used to, but I know that there's still a call in my life. And I know there's still this great conviction in my heart. And what else? And what is it going to look like? And to be bold enough and brave enough to jump and trust
Yeah.
that the net will catch you, to go out in waters that are uncharted, and to
Yes.
still be, to
Sorry.
be above water. You're in
Yes.
you're in waters that are uncharted, and you're above water. What a blessing.
Honestly, I feel
That's a
more myself
blessing.
than anything. Like, none of it makes sense. And I'm like, what? And I'm realizing that it's okay to not be, still doing, like, makeup will come back. But I always felt like my purpose was a little bit, not deeper, but I just felt like the way I connected with people, I cared so much more than just makeup. I always tell people I'm more than just makeup artist. And I mean, next week I'm taking my exam to become NASM certified personal training. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I just wanted to
Amazing.
learn more about the
Amazing.
body and about myself, and just like nutrition focus. And then on top of that, I'm going to yoga teacher training, because I'm like, I got to do what I'm being called to, and everything is lining up and it doesn't make any sense. So I'm like, thank you for saying that. I'm being pulled in a different way.
And what did we talk about? What peace is? Peace surpasses understanding. You don't have to understand it, but you still have peace about it.
I
It
really
doesn't make
do.
sense to you, but you still have peace about it. That's what peace is. That's
Yes.
what confidence and uncertainty is. That's it. You're living it. You're
My
living
God.
it. You're living it. And guess what?
Angela.
It's the adventure of your life. This is the adventure of your life. You're gonna look back and be like, what? You're gonna look back and be like, are you kidding me? And that's why it's so important for us to get strong in our body so that we're not just existing, but we're living. We're living this great adventure of our life. That's why it doesn't matter if you have a six pack or if you have glutes or if you have this or that. No. I just want to be strong enough in my body to actually live, not just exist, but to live. So congratulations for living.
Thank you. Oh my God, Angela, I can't thank you enough. I'm so sorry. Every time I see Angela, I cry, but it's good tears. They're the most amazing. And that means you're just speaking to my soul. And I'm reflecting it back to you that you are just a true light in this world. And I'm so grateful for you. And I hope we can stay connected. And if there's any way I can support you, please let me know. And thank you so much for your time and energy. It is so and deeply
keep showing up at the Army. I
will. Oh my God. I'm about to go jump on that bike now. I need to get out of these clothes. I need to take my makeup off and go jump on the bike. So
go get it, girl.
I appreciate you, Angela. Love you. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye, sis.
Girl.